Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Monica, and here's her story. Hello, Ollie. Happy New Year. I hope you are keeping well. I wanted your opinion on the character traits of my sibling. To give you a bit of background on both my younger sister and myself, we were born 5 years apart, both being millennials. However, my dad is the last of the baby boomers generation, and my mom would count as Gen X, except for one thing. She displays baby boomer behaviors. Our mom and dad met at a house party when mom was barely 16 and dad was already 22, having 2 years of mandatory military service behind him. Wow. Apparently, by the way you spell behaviors and mom, I guess you're in Europe, probably the UK. You know, I don't know what the age of consent is in the UK, but a 16-year-old should not be dating a 22-year-old. I don't get that mentality out of a guy. Like I maybe it's cultural. Maybe I don't understand that. At 22, you look at it. How do you say, yeah, this is my 16-year-old girlfriend? Like, Christ. According to mom, dad bravely beat up a young boy to get the attention of mom. How's that brave? He's in the military for 2 years. He's a 22-year-old man and he's beating up a boy? Her age? That's bravery? I'm sorry. To me, that's abuse with your mother and your father. Like, it's almost, yeah, it's boomer worship. At that point of their lives, neither mom or dad dated before. My mom was raised by her dad, who praised her a lot, and mom, who took pleasure in claiming that she trained her kids as if they were animals. On my dad's side, both his parents lived through Second World War as kids, teenagers, and have seen things no child should ever see, such as seeing dead bodies of the German soldiers, having their parents being tortured by the German military police and beaten up by cruel Soviet officer over a pair of leather gloves, or having to survive through bombings or being shot at by German fighter planes. I believe both grandparents on my father's side had PTSD because I recognize the symptoms. They had that. I have myself. I was a little kid. To be honest, I do not remember having CPTSD. My mom's parents grew up in either poverty or in extremely violent households. This is the history of my most immediate family. Back to the question I had in mind. I would like to describe the behavior of my younger sister and the differences between us. My sister came 5 years after me, and the first thing I remember about her is her stuffing all of my favorite toys into her mouth as a toddler while staring at me a little bit too intensely. To the best of my knowledge, I know kids age explore the world through their mouth. I know kids that age explore the world through their mouth, but I've never seen a kid trying to eat so many toys while making direct eye contact and giggling about it. I gave up on having any favorite toys, and she stopped eating them too. Maybe she just grew out of it. And then, it sounds to me like she was trying to make some kind of connection to you as kids, and that's how she knew how to communicate. I mean, yeah, eventually. I hope she's not. I hope she wasn't stuffing toys and stuffed animals into her mouth as a teenager. That sounds like something you would grow out of. My sister was always well kept, nice haircut, nice clothes, all the food she wanted. Meanwhile, I had oversized, hand-me-down, baggy clothing that it would take me years to grow into. I was fed starvation rations despite the fridge being full of healthy, nutritious food. However, none of that food was for me. If I attempted to eat anything that wasn't being served to me, I was accused of stealing. Any food given to me by my grandma was confiscated from me in case I got fat or got diabetes. Ollie, I was bordering on being underweight, just skinning bones, trying to survive the day on a can of cherry-flavored Pepsi. Meanwhile, my sister sat at the kitchen table, smirking and enjoying the show. I believe me, boo, I've talked about that in my own ad nauseum. I went into high school at 85 pounds. And I was made to be a glutton because the only time I was allowed to eat was in front of other people, if other people were watching. Then I was allowed to eat. If it was just me and my mother, I was starved all day. All day. While my brother was served fried chicken and tater tots out of a Fry Daddy 3 for 3 meals a day and frozen dinners, and was 200 pounds by the time I think he was in the 5th grade. Fat boy. You'll always be a little fat boy, Michael. And boy, do I know the smirking and enjoying the show, because that's exactly what it is. You're just a part of their show. You're the comic relief. You're the comic relief in the Narcissist Entertainment Show. The other thing I remember is that my sister enjoyed torturing our family pet cat. I would often find the cat being strangled to a bedpost with a really taut thread that she couldn't bite through. The cat was distressed because she was being called by my sister to the feeding station, but couldn't get away. Yeah, that's sadistic. That's sadistic. And that's when your sister didn't get enough pleasure torturing you, she had to torture animals. Whenever I tried to let the cat free, my sister would run towards me screaming and crying because I was ruining her having fun. As soon as my sister learned how to walk, I was dumped with the task of looking after her well-being. I had a number of issues with that. First, she was a clumsy child, and whenever she fell over, I would get blamed for it and get the beatings. Second, she was nasty to older kids, i.e. she would attack kids who were around my age. Yeah, that was the first. As soon as you said that, I'm like, that's because of you. She sees every kid your age as you. To the point where boys from my neighborhood would push her away, try to run away, or chase her away with a long stick. I had to chase those boys away because when she was pushed away or chased away, I would get blamed for not protecting my sister. Lastly, my sister would spy on me and report back to our parents, who would then punish me for things such as enjoying my innocent playtime, reading, or watching cartoons on the television. Jumping 10 years into the future, where my sister was around 15 to 16, she turned into a truant and bunked off school. She sent me death threats on paper notes simply because I kept to myself and didn't want to be around her. She once attempted to stab me with a kitchen knife. I was making a salad, chopping tomatoes, when she ran out of the bedroom, grabbed the knife, and tried to stab me with it. Yeah, at that point, she's got deeper issues. At that point in life, I was either 19 or 20 and had 4 years of service as a military cadet. So I simply overpowered her and took the knife away. After that, even my sister continued sending me death threats. After that, even my sister continued sending me death threats. When I confronted our parents about her behavior, they just looked at me with a blank stare. After I continued to argue that her behavior is not normal, they called her into the room and asked her what happened. She simply said, "I don't know, I was just a baby," which was her excuse for everything ever, even if she did something bad 5 minutes ago. I left heartbroken and haven't spoken much to my sister for a good 5 years, if not more, despite living under the same roof. Jumping forward another 5 to 7 years from that event, my sister went from making fun of me from going to university despite her barely finishing high school with poor grades, to her blaming me how college was, to then telling me how much she hates university. She belittled me for doing well at university and hated me at the same time because things were not served to her on a golden platter like she was used to. Wow. She sounds a lot like my brother, to be honest with you. Okay? Because my brother, like I said, my brother, when he was in grade school, my mother did all his work for him. They did all his schoolwork, made sure he had straight A's. He was a year older than everyone. Okay? And as soon as the work got too hard, guess what happened to Dummy? Guess what happened to Dummy? And where did he end up? Bergen Community College. Harvard on the highway. Good job. Good job. To be fair, he got into Montclair State later on, but, you know, he was the progeny of the, you know, the chosen one of the family. The golden child needs everything served to them on a golden platter. I mean, that's just the way it is. And when it isn't, you see their shit, it becomes your fault. These days, my sister is struggling to hold down a job for more than 3 months at a time. She would leave. Well, go figure. Somebody who's going to run and pick up a knife and try to stab her own sister and torture animals. Go figure she would have a hard time holding down meaningful employment. She would leave the workplace or was made to leave because she was in constant conflict with virtually every employee, supervisor, or boss, or customer ever. I understand that some workplaces could be more challenging than others. However, she went through 12 jobs in a space of 3 to 4 years. She was often called lazy by the majority of her employers. Right. Because the golden child needs everything on the golden platter their entire life. Their entire life. Look at the golden child. They need everything handed to them forever. Forever. And the great thing for them is when they don't get it or something goes wrong, it's your fault. There is another side of the story about my sister. After hating and obsessing over me with the death threats and violent physical attacks, which were unprovoked on my part, she managed to gather some men who would, according to her, obsess over her. It was a sick thing to watch, those so-called stalkers who would follow her around, call her, email her, you name it, literally for years. Right, beta males. Understand, beta males will go apeshit for a girl like your sister. Captain Save-A-Ho? Captain Save-A-Ho loves a golden child because they're the ones who can serve them everything. They're the ones giving them that golden platter. Don't you get it? Your sister needs everything served to her on a gold platter because she's a golden child. Okay? Captain Save-A-Ho loves the golden child. Loves the golden child. Why? Because all the golden child wants is everything served to them on a golden platter. That is a job for Captain Save-A-Ho if there ever was one. That's who's fun. That's who's circling around is Captain Save-A-Hos. A bunch of Captain Save-A-Hos. Who cares? I think the current record is 5 or 7 years, and the latest one is about 2 years, but is a far worse case. The latest guy, who is admittedly a scumbag with a long history of criminal record, domestic violence, and being sentenced multiple times to prison, is the very person who my sister managed to smash his head open. She did that with his brand new iPhone. In the back of his head, mind you, my sister is really short and unimposing, while the guy is tall as a tree. He's Captain Save-A-Ho. It's Captain Save-A-Ho. Okay? He may have domestic violence charges on it. I don't make him any less than a Captain Save-A-Ho. How she came up with banging his head open with a phone is beyond me, because she's violent. Her reason for doing so, she said, I just got annoyed with him. She got annoyed because she keeps pushing him away and then pulls him right back in. That was it. The guy needed stitches, and my sister was held up in arrest for 17 hours by the police. She was let out without charges and then told me how nice it was to get that attention from the police officers. Yeah. Yeah, because she puts out the signal. She wants to be saved. Save me, Captain Save-A-Ho. Save me, Captain Save-A-Ho. She is an unassuming little middle-class white woman with a new car, a new phone, so the police let her get away with it, who was compliant all the way through. Funny how she can't behave civil with people in her life. I don't recognize my sister. She still lives with our narcissistic parents while I've been keeping distance since mid-2018 and see them as little as possible. My therapist suggesting she has borderline and sociopath-like tendencies. What do you think? Yeah, that's what I would absolutely label her as. I said it's all sociopathic. It's sociopathic violent. And obviously borderline. She's a monster. And she's going to destroy everything she comes in contact with. Thank you in advance for reading my story and all that you do. And thank you to everyone for listening. Take care. Monica. Right. Look. She's absolutely borderline personality, sociopath, and violent. Okay, the reason these guys, and you got to understand, you said it yourself, she needs everything served to her on a silver platter. Okay, so what she's got is a bunch of Captain Save-A-Hos circling around because they want to serve her, they want to please her. Captain, understand something. Captain Save-A-Ho is a guy who has had his nuts stepped on by his mother long ago and is completely emasculated. Completely emasculated. And your sister constantly needs to be saved. She constantly needs to get that golden platter. Whether it be from Captain Save-A-Ho, the police, or whoever. That's what she needs. And in the meantime, she can't hold down a job and she can't get along with anybody because she's constantly looking to be saved. You can't be saved if there's nothing to be saved from. You understand? So she causes these disasters in her life almost like a homing beacon for Captain Save-A-Ho to come with the next golden platter and come save me so that I can crack your fucking head open and still get my sociopathic, borderline, sadistic pleasure out of it as well. Your sister's a borderline monster and you just need to stay away from her. But understand what she's doing. She's creating chaos as a homing beacon for Captain Save-A-Ho. That's what the golden child does. So, I hope that helps. Thank you so much, Monica, for your story and your contribution. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to have a private video made, or you'd just like to make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away, and YouTube is trying to make that happen sooner or later. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box below. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. Also, be sure to follow me on the library app, which links are in the description box below as well. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been The Narcissistic Resistance. Take care.